my god, I keep losing. What the hell? This is such a hard game! Let me hit up my friend Henry. Fix him up here. Hello? Hi, Henry.
Hello.
Can you help me with something?
Yeah, how can I help?
I keep losing with this rock deck. This deck's so hard to play. I don't know what to do. It just confuses me.
Well, maybe that's because you were playing ABC for 5 months.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, lucky for you, I can help. I have a new video.
What?
From my sponsor, Bemani Lounge.
Oh yeah?
And it really, it dives deep into all the combos and nitty gritty about the deck, and it can help players like you learn how to play it.
Oh, I'm excited. Show me, teach me, Henry. Please teach me.
Okay.
Okay.
Here we go.
Let's go. Hui.
What's up, guys? This is Henry from Bemani Lounge coming to you on I'm So Angry with an Adamancipator deck profile, aka Rock deck. This deck is one of my favorite decks since Sylvan's 2014, just because it incorporates variance and getting lucky to win. But even if you whiff on all of your mills, you can still play the game, which is what I really like. But the deck is so powerful, and it's definitely the combo deck of the format to play. I am going to break down this deck profile into card rolls featured in Road of the King by Patrick Hoban, my good friend. And in this book, Patrick Hoban talks about incorporating variance into your deck building strategy. So this was incorporated in decks like Sylvan's when they excavated to summon plants from the deck, in Burning Abyss when you milled off Dante, in Lightsworns when you milled off Minerva, and decks like that. And Adamancipators is just another deck that incorporates milling and getting lucky into their strategy. The high percentage that you have of milling a really good card just increases the power level significantly. I'm going to go into the deck by card rolls. I'm going to talk about how each card roll does its specific role in the deck and how it interacts with the meta, how it interacts with popular defensive cards like Nibiru, and proactive lowering cards like Dark Ruler No More. Before I get into it, I just want to say subscribe to Bemani Lounge. It's my new sponsor. We do some great deck profiles. We do IRL deck profiles. We do IRL just competitive duels, and we do discussions. We also have a podcast on Spotify, which we're one of the only Yu-Gi-Oh brands to be on Spotify, so please check that out. We'll have it in the description below. In Patrick Hoban's book, it mentions that we should be playing 11 to 14 or 11 to 13 starter cards. So for starter cards, we have triple Researcher, we also have triple Seeker, we have double Doki Doki, double Onomatopoeia, one Onomata Pickup, and 2 Pot of Desires. I didn't include Analyzer in the starter role just because I didn't think it should be considered a starter. It's really more of an extender going second, and you should never really want to be committing your normal summon to that card unless you have Seeker or Researcher in hand. To me, it's not really a starter, it's more of an extender. You don't really want to commit your normal summon to it. You want to commit your normal summon to Doki Doki, a Guardian, or a Onomata card. So all of these cards, they help you get into your engine. The name of the game is to get into Hugly Fibrax or turbo into Gallic Granite and just search your Block Dragon. You want to be able to get to your Block Dragon before you get Nibiru. That's very important, because if you can't get the Black Dragon before you get Nibiru, that means you're left with no resources. However, you can turbo all of your cards into a Block Dragon or into the play where you go into Union Carrier, target Link Spider, and equip Block Dragon from the deck. If you're able to do that before they Nibiru you, then you can still play the game. However, if they Nibiru you before that, then it can be very rough. It's important to get these cards out on the field right away. However, if you summon Researcher right away, sometimes it can kind of limit you in what you can do after you search Block Dragon, because ideally, you don't want to summon this card right away. You want to be able to normal summon this, Special Seeker, or special it off Doki Doki. And then this way, after you search off Black Dragon, you can leave this in hand, special summon the Gigantus, then special summon the Researcher, then special summon the Seeker, and then it just snowballs from there. So these cards are very important. Doki Doki is very important as well. You never really want to play too many of these because your hand options get limited if you draw multiples. Yes, you can pitch one off the other, but you want to be discarding 4s and not 2s. So by pitching a Guardian or by pitching a Gigantus or pitching an Adamana card off of this, it can assure you summon an Analyzer, get a summon off of an Analyzer, and then go into one of your Synchro plays. So these 8 are pretty good starters. You want to commit your normal summon actually to Researcher because you don't want to start your play by specialing it. You want to start your play by normal summoning it. This way, after you search your Black Dragon, you can special it from hand off that and just get an additional extender. So that's really all I have to say about the monster cards. And then for the spells, we have the 2 Pyra and the 1 Pickup. Pickup's interesting. I know Pickup searches Pyra, and maybe people play more Pickups, but I don't love Pickup just because it stays on the field. I'm not siding evenly, but if you are siding evenly, I suggest always siding this out because it allows you to, if you activate this card and they don't negate it, then you search Pyra and they're probably going to negate the Pyra, so you just have a card left on your field so you get evenly. So I usually side one of these out, but I prefer this one just because if you draw multiples of it, you can just pitch the other one. I prefer Adamana Pyra over Pickup. I think if you get Drolled, it's a little risky to play Pickup, and I think 3 is a good number to play, so I play those. And then Desires, I know a lot of people don't play Desires, but it's actually, you don't need to resolve Black Dragon. Sometimes just getting that +1 is enough off of the Desires. It's also just a good Ash bait, and if your hand's insane, like, you can just go into your play, search your cards, and then Desires after, and then get a +2. You can have multiple end boards that you can make. So just because you can't make one board because you desired away a combo piece, like say Mecha Phantom Beast or Lion, you could still do another play where you can go into IP Masquerena, set up Dragite, this and that. So Desires is good. You're always going to get a good card off of it. Post sighting, it's very important because it's another card that can draw you into Dark Ruler no more. So I agree with playing Desires right now. The next type of role we have is Extenders. Hoban says we should be playing around 12 to 15 of them. So we're playing quite a couple. We're playing the Go engine, so that requires 3 gloves, 1 Gigas, and engine requirements that come with them are the Giants and the Utopic Onomatopoeia. So this engine, what it does is basically it allows you to shotgun a rank 4, which is very important to search Block Dragon, which is going to be a common theme in most of our combos. So like when we activate Pyro or Pickup, we're going to be searching Glove and Utopic Onomatopoeia. This counts as any either Dubaba, Gagaga, Go-Go-Go, or Dododo, so it counts for any of them. You can just normal summon this and special this, and then you can go into your play. This is good if you have to pitch one of your combo pieces off of Pyra, and you could just search this, summon Giant, summon one from Grave. And then Gigas, if you have Glove on the field, you can summon Gigas from the graveyard, giving up your battle phase, which is fine if you're turn 0 player. But Glove is the best one, because if it's in Grave and you have any of these on the field, you can just special it from Grave, and then it banish it when it leaves the field. But if you overlay with it, then it just goes back to Grave. So these are the best cards. They just they trigger off each other, and since you're going to be pitching them for Doki Doki and Pirate, you're going to have one in Grave, and then you could just go your normal play. So I think that this engine is solid. The only engine I would play instead of this is you could try the build with Unexpected Die, the Redolce Pudding Sour, and then you could play the Tenyi Water level 4. Those cards are okay. They're not rocks, which is their main flaw, so if you mill them off of a Seeker or a Researcher, you can't summon them, which is why I think that engine is strictly worse. These are all rocks for the most part, except for this one, and they all work with each other, so that's why I like this better. So that's that part. Then we have 3 Adamancipator Signs, along with 1 Monster Reborn. Signs is definitely the focal point of the deck. Similar to how Hoban built his deck around Soul Charge when he played Sylvans, this is another similar card where it's like you're going to be building your strategies around this card, and you play 1 copy of Leonite to be able to reactivate this a second time. So every time you're able to summon a Seeker or a Researcher or an Analyzer off this card, you can stack the Leonite from your deck. Then you can Synchro into the Synchro Leonite, you mill this card, and then you stack this card on top. This card is very good to activate multiple signs, and yeah, it's just a very good card overall. So anyway, that's it for those. And then we play aforementioned 2 Analyzer and 2 Gigantus. Again, Analyzer is just a very good card. A lot of people play her at 3. I think Analyzer is better suited at 2 just because you never want to see multiples. You never really want to commit your normal summon to it, and it's just a good card going second, but it's not really that great going first. It just limits the options in your hand because you either have to commit a normal summon to an Analyzer or a Guardian or a Doki Doki, and you have to think about what your normal summon is going to be when you should be thinking about how many things can I do in a turn. And if your Doki gets ashed, like, Analyzer does nothing to just mitigate that, so I don't see the reason why this card's being played at 3. I think it just should be played at 2. So those are some more extenders, and then along with the aforementioned Leonite, we play 2 more stones in the form of Dragite. I don't play the Raptite. I don't think that card is very good. You never really want to be stacking cards from your graveyard on top of your deck. But I think Dragite is very good because not only does it draw you a card when it's summoned, but when it's in graveyard, it allows you to negate with the Synchro. So that's very important. Also, Leonite being a fire, sometimes you want to summon the fire Synchro, and if this card is engraved, you can special back a Guardian, or you can special back just another useful rock card. So these cards are very useful. I wouldn't play less than this. Then we get into our defensive cards. So that's it for our extenders. We play Triple Call by the Grave. This is more of an enabler, where it's just like, it's not stopping our opponent from playing the game, it's allowing us to play the game. Same thing with Quakimayo Guardian, kind of enabler defensive cards, where it's like, yes, they stop our opponent, but they're only stopping our opponent in a sense from us playing the game. So this allows you to not get Nibiru, this allows you to not get ashed. And this is like an engine card because it's a rock, and this is just a very good flex card because it hits everything in the meta. So this also hits Golden Boy, which is very important because when you make a board and they have a Golden Boy send, then they can have like another disruption or a bomb like lightning storm. So it's important to hit the Golden Boy, protect yourself from your their removal. Then you play 2 proactive lowering cards, which is 2 Ash. This is the only hand shop that I play in the main deck. I wanted a card that was good against everything. People are maining Nibiru, people are maining Dark Ruler. I don't agree with that, just because you're going to be playing 50 to 60% of your matches against Eldlik, which those cards do nothing against. So I think Ash is just a very good card overall. It stops all the big cards in the format, and even though it doesn't do a lot against the Adamancipators, sometimes just ashing their Doki is just a free win, and you can hit everything in the meta, which is very important right now. So 2 Ash, another engine requirement in the form of a Lion. This card is good because it's a wind, and if you leave Raptite on the field, the Synchro, this card's a wind, so if it's in grave, you can DD Crow with your Raptite, which a lot of people just don't do because they Synchro it off or they link it off, which sometimes I'll just leave it on the field as a defensive card. So Alliance very good though. It summons an extra token, it helps you get into your Union Carrier play, and it's just overall very good card. And then we have our bomb. We have Black Dragon. I used to play her at 2, but I think one is good enough. A lot of times when it gets DD Crowed or Called by the Grave or something like that, it's not the end of the game. Like, you could still play the game. In fact, like, this is just your recovery card for when you like get in a beard, you want to search your hand for next turn or whatever, and you need a recovery play. This card's great. It also protects your rocks from getting destroyed by card effects, which is also super relevant. So it means that they can't like destroy or go into Cerberus and pop your Dragite, which is very important. And then you can just, it's a big body, so you can just attack for game with it. So yeah, definitely Black Dragon, ban-worthy card, amazing. And then one more consistency card in the form of Upstart, 39 cards plus Upstart. So that's the magic formula for the main deck. The extra deck is a little bit different from most. I am playing a little bit of a Synchro build. I'm playing Formula Synchron, Herald of the Arclight, Adamancipator Risen Leonite, which a lot of people cut, which is incorrect. 1 Risen Raptite, 1 Risen Dragite, and 1 Savage Dragon, and along with 1 Satellite Warrior. I play 7 Synchros. A lot of people don't play the Formula or the Leonite, and no one really plays the Satellite. The reason why these cards are all very good is because a lot of people, what they do turn 1 with this deck is they turbo into Masquerena. Savage with Appaloosa for 3, and Black Dragon on the field, which I used to do as well. But the reason why that is flawed strategy, games 2 and 3, is because if your opponent has the card, Dark Ruler no more, or if they have Nibiru or whatever, then if it wipes out all of your negates, then you have zero way of getting back into the game. You have absolutely no win conditions or anything like that. If you set up, however, differently by summoning Huckle Fibrax and then Dragite, and then say you could leave IP as well, it allows your opponent, like if they have Dark Ruler, they can still play through your board and they can still break your board, which is fine. But at least you're leaving cards like Savage Dragon in your extra deck, which is very important because it allows you to use the resources in your hand that you search off Black Dragon to then go into Savage Dragon and attempt to get back into the game, which is just a very important thing. But what I do is I'll go into Huckle Fibrax and then I'll have Dragite on the field, usually sometimes with a Masquerena and a Black Dragon, but then I just tag out the Huckle Fibrax and summon a Formula Synchron, get an additional draw, so now I'm up a card, and then I synchro away my Formula and my Dragite into a Satellite Warrior, which Satellite Warrior, what it does is it pops the number of cards on summon up to the number of synchros in your graveyard. So since you'll have Raptite, Dragite, and Formula Synchron in your graveyard, you can pop up to 3 cards on your opponent's turn, which is very good against back row. If I don't go into this play, sometimes I'll leave the Leonite on the field, and if I have a Fire Engrave, like say I have Ash in my hand, I'll voluntarily go into Leonite because I know that I'm going to resolve its second effect, where after I Ash, I have a Fire Engrave, I go into Leonite and I summon a Guardian from the grave, or I summon a Dragite from the grave, and then I get an additional draw, and then I'm just playing the resource game, so I just eventually just out-resource my opponent, which is very important. So that's why I think the Synchros are just so good, because they don't really necessarily play around Dark Ruler no more, but it makes it so that you're leaving your win conditions in your extra deck, so that if they get over your board, you can still make a board turn 4 or turn 5. So that's it for the Synchros. I play 1 Gallic Granite. I don't play Dweller. I never really went into it that much, and when I did, it was always sort of win more. So for the links, I play 1 Link Spider for the Union Carrier play. Play Huckle Fibrax. You go into this card almost every game. You should be. You summon your Olion off of this. If you draw the Olion, you could summon any of your Seekers or your Researchers. It's fine. But I like to leave this on field instead of link it away. A lot of people link this card away, which I think is incorrect. 1 Masquerena, 1 Phoenix and Unicorn for utility, and 1 Appaloosa. So Appaloosa I try to leave in the extra deck for as long as possible, because this card is the most vulnerable card to Dark Ruler no more. Because not only are you spending 3 resources to go into this, if it gets Dark Ruler no more, it's 0 attack and they're getting over it no matter what. So it's like almost like going -4 when they Dark Ruler it. So it's very, even though it plays around Nibiru, I'd rather take my chances with Nibiru than just for sure get annihilated with Dark Ruler. So I usually tend to leave up the Huckle Fibrax and the IP. So anyway guys, for the side deck I'll go into real quick. I think a lot of people are cutting Phantasme, which I think is incorrect. You maximize your chances to draw Dark Ruler no more game 3 against the mirror match. So I play 3 Phantasme to draw into it, 2 Sticky String. I prefer this over Nibiru. I just count my opponent's summons. They think I have Nibiru, and they end on an alternative board that's vulnerable, and I just Kaiju their 1 card that protects them from dying. And then I play 3 Dark Ruler for obvious reasons, 2 Cosmic for spot removal, my only out to mine. 3 Drag Down. This could become Exchange in the future. I like how some of my cards are good engraved though, and it just works very good. Rip a Dark Ruler no more, or you can rip a Nibiru or anything like that. So I think Drag Down is very good. And then, actually another out to Mystic Might as Imperial Order, as well as Fragrance. These are good cards to also out Dark Ruler no more, and just good decks that use spells. So anyway guys, that's it for my deck. I tried to break it down by card rolls as much as possible. If you enjoyed that method that I used to give the deck profile, just leave a like. Also subscribe to Bemani Lounge. We really appreciate every like, comment, and subscription that we get. We're going to pay it back. We're going to do more deck profiles. We're going to do more IRLs. We're going to do as much content as possible. We have a whole competitive team worth a group of guys working to just kind of bring the community together and enjoy the game that we love, even at the hardest of times. So yeah, also subscribe to my friend Kawhi, I'm So Angry, And I'll see you guys in the next video, guys. I'll see you guys. Peace.
Wait till you see my deck list I put up in the front. It's hilarious.
Can you have a Summon Skull? Put Summon
It definitely has Summon Skull in there.
Summon
Summon Skull Turbo. Okay, it should be up in like, I don't know, probably like 20, 30 minutes or less. I don't know. Pretty quick. Okay. See ya.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.